Ladies and gentlemen, the Orioles made a big one.
Yeah, welcome to the yard, it's that Birdland sound. Pigtown sports, yeah, we holding it down. Bleeding orange, dripping purple, that's the code we claim. Crab cake, hustle, Old Bay in the veins. From Camden Yards to the air, we all the same. That beat more fire running deep in our veins. From the block to the booth, yeah, we bringing that flame. Pigtown sports, steady carving the game. Talking stats and facts, we don't cap, we react. Breaking plays, dropping gems, keep it all exact. Ravens on the rise, O's back in their zone. We the next up, Baltimore's on. Yeah, microphone heat when we speak that truth. It's Pigtown sports, yeah, we speak for the youth. Yeah,
grab a crab cake plate, pour that natty bowl. When the mics turn on, man, you already know we the best up and coming Orioles podcast today. Spitting stats and facts with that Obey flame. From the block to the booth, we don't play no games. Pigtown sports, remember the name. Woo!
Birdland, welcome in. They made a pretty big trade today, sending 4 prospects and a draft pick for Shane Baz. I probably just butchered that last name, but you know what? You're going to have to deal with it for tonight. I know a lot of people have some pretty mixed emotions about this trade. I know my initial reaction was, what the F? I wouldn't say I was upset by it. Michael Ferret is just a guy that I expected to have very big things with this organization, is to put it bluntly. I don't know how to really say that on YouTube without really getting in trouble. But anyway, I expected Michael Ferret to really, really contribute to this organization. So I was really bummed about that at first. And I was just like, you know what? This kind of sucks. The other guys, that's just the dirty business part of baseball that really sucks. They were guys that you kind of expected to be in your organization for a long time and probably contribute to your big league team. But you know what? They contributed to a pretty darn good pitcher, with all things considered here. So let's get right into it. So the Orioles received Shane Baz. They get rid of catcher first-round pick Caden Bodine, first-round pick over slot Slater DeBron, right-handed pitcher Michael Ferret. You got outfielder Austin Avern, I believe was the third-round pick, and then a competitive balance round A pick number 33. And look, a lot of people said that, we wouldn't sign a guy with the qualifying offer attached because, they wouldn't give up draft picks. Well, you traded your draft pick to acquire a big-time arm. And there's a lot of things to like about Shane Baz. We'll go over a lot of them here. There is something that I did want to touch on. And I've been seeing it around Twitter a good bit. This tweet here, 4 years of Grayson Rodriguez is worth 1 year of Taylor Ward and $11 million. But 3 years of Shane Baz is worth, all the prospects I just stated. Slater DeBron, Caden Bodine, Michael Ferret, Austin Avern, and a competitive balance A pick. Now you see some numbers on the screen here. 506 days. That was the last time that Grayson Rodriguez threw a pitch in major leagues. 506 days. You know how many pitches Shane Baz has thrown in that time frame? 3,602. So yeah, there is a big difference. And there's also another big difference to kind of take into consideration here. How often do you do a one-for-one player or one-for-one trade that acquires a middle-of-the-lineup bat, an outfielder, a power bat, who could hit 3, 4, or 5 in your lineup? A one-for-one? It doesn't happen often. And I'm not saying that it was an underpay. Like, I think it was equal value. It's very hard to acquire a middle-of-the-order bat. And they did it with Grayson Rodriguez. As you can see, they sent multiple prospects to acquire Shane Baz. Big difference here a lot of people are missing. The Orioles didn't need prospects. Why did they need to trade Grayson Rodriguez for a haul of prospects? Yeah, they could have flipped him, sure. No, they needed a middle-of-the-order major league outfielder, and they got it. That's the difference. The Rays need prospects. The Rays are on this verge of rebuilding and maybe trying to acquire Ketel Marte at the same time. I don't know what the hell the Rays are doing. But there's a huge difference here. The Orioles did not need prospects. They traded Grayson Rodriguez for something that's very hard to acquire in the major leagues. And then they traded the prospects for, again, something that's very hard to acquire in the major leagues. And that's good pitching. Just wanted to touch on that. So let's get into this. I know the first thing you see when you see Shane Baz, 4.87 ERA and a negative 0.64 wins, WPA. What the hell, right? First initial reaction. What the hell? I get it. I completely get it. But listen, ERA isn't everything. And I understand, like, when you first look at it, you're like, oh, this is another freaking Dean Kramer. It's not. It's a little different. And sorry, I was ending Instagram live here. I was trying to go live on Instagram, and it's all screwed up over there. So I was ending that real quick. The expected ERA last year was the 3.85. 3.85 and a 3.88 xFIP with a 2.0 WAR. I mean, not amazing numbers by any stretch, but they're pretty good. I mean, they're pretty decent there. This guy right here is going to slot in at probably our number 3 in the rotation right now, which is good, right? You don't have to run out Brandon Young. You don't have to run out Cade Povich. You slot him ahead of Dean Kramer. You don't have to worry about Tyler Wells. And honestly, they're not done. So this trade here gets us to a point that we're already have a better rotation than we had last year. You're not going to hear me complain about it. Again, I complained about Michael Ferret. That's for a whole nother series of things. I just thought for long term, Michael Ferret would help this organization for a long time. But why did we see the numbers for Shane Baz last year? Well, does anybody remember that they played in a spring training complex for the Yankees? It was a little sandbox. So this is what he did at home. 16 games, 5.9 ERA, 18 home runs, 271 average, 49 slugging, 496 FIP, 389 xFIP. Away, 15 games, 3.86 ERA, 8 home runs, a 227 average, 373 slugging, 379 FIP, 387 xFIP. And what I also found was pretty interesting here is he gave up at home 10 home runs between July and August. What happens in baseball? It gets hot, ball expands, flies out of the ballpark. Where is it really, really hot at? In Florida? Florida, yeah, really hot. Yeah, 2 and 2 to go together. Ball flies out, right? 10 home runs, right, of those 18. Now, when I looked at what he did away, he only gave up 2 home runs away from Steinbrenner Field after May. So in May, he gave up 6 home runs on the road and then gave up 2 the rest of the season. So that right there is a little bit of promise, right? So you're going to see some ugly numbers. You would have seen the same ugly numbers if this was a pitcher from the Athletics, right? They also played in a sandbox. It really skews some numbers. You could probably look at all the pitching staffs in the league, right? And look at their numbers at these 2 fields, and they're going to be pretty pathetic. So, well, unless it was Dean Kramer. Dean Kramer has some pretty solid things there. But the numbers aren't as bad as they appear once you kind of peel off the onion a little bit. Once you start getting into the layers a little bit, you start realizing there's a lot to like here. And why is there a lot to like here? If he would have played at Camden Yards last year, of the 27 home runs he'd given up, only 19 of them would have went out at Camden Yards. So I'm not saying that he's not susceptible to the long ball, because he is. Obviously, he gives up 19, but I mean, there's some things to work on here. He gave up 6 home runs on the slider alone. He actually ditched the slider mid-season and transformed that into his cutter. The Orioles being the Orioles, and how much they really love the split finger, don't be shocked if Shane Baz learns a split finger. And I think it's really going to help him. He's got a very good fastball. He's got a very, very good knuckle curve. Very good knuckle curve. And he's got the cutter right now. Could you maybe teach him a slurve or something? I would just scratch the whole thing. The cutter kind of got hit around a lot. The slider got demolished. He had like a 541 average against it or something like that with 3 home runs at home, right? Or even away. So, like, it didn't matter. Like, he was getting hit away and home. It didn't matter. Like, that, the slider sucked, right? That's why he switched off of it. But a lot of things to like here about Shane Baz. He's going to bring, I mean, do we have a starter that throws 100 miles an hour? To be completely honest with ourselves. I mean, now you got 3 years of him. One thing that I do want to touch on too, you saved yourself having to trade Dylan Beavers here, or Kobe Mayo, or Colton Cowser. And you still acquired an arm that projects as a low end 2 or mid 3, like he has the arm talent to be a 2 in this league. 2023, he had Tommy John. He missed half, all of 23, half of 24. Came back, made 14 starts in 24. Pitched okay. This was his first full season, and of course, he gets to go pitch in a sandbox. Could his season have been a lot better? Yeah. But you got 166 innings out of this guy, first year back. I'd say that's pretty good. You get 180 out of him next year. That's damn good for the Orioles, right? Right? Keep him healthy. So, but now, what I wanted to touch on Calvers, Beavers, and Mayo, they're still available for a trade. There's been some grumblings that they could go and get Brenton Doyle. Brenton Doyle had a little bit of a down year last year, and I looked at some of his numbers. He had over 300. I think it was like 310 in Colorado, and it was like 160 or 180 or something like that on the road. So I didn't like seeing that too much, but the career-wise, Brenton Doyle looks like he could be a good player, right? Say you go and acquire Brenton Doyle for Kobe Mayo and some, right? Okay, well, now Cowser's available. So instead of trading Dylan Beavers, well, now you can trade maybe Cowser and Kramer for Freddie Peralta. Like, this move here, sending multiple prospects to acquire Shane Baz, and you didn't touch the big 3 that most people thought you were going to trade, and now you still have them available for a trade, tells me the Orioles aren't done. They're not done, which is very good to see and hear. I'm excited at this point to see what they do with it. And I did want to touch on 2022. Shane Baz was the 12th overall prospect. And when you look at this whole freaking list, it's really awesome. Bobby Witt, Adley, Julio, Spencer Torkelson, Grayson, Gabriel Moreno. He was traded for Dalton Varsho, Anthony Volpe, C.J. Abrams, Francisco Alvarez, Noelvi Marte, and Shane Baz. That's a real good top 100 right there. So it's not like this guy was a nobody. All right, this guy was considered the second best pitching prospect in all of baseball right before he had Tommy John. And when we go back to this, right, now Grayson was ahead of Baz. This was the 1 and 2 in 2022. One guy hasn't thrown a pitch in 500 days, and another one coming off Tommy John has thrown 3,600. So it's not like Shane Baz was a nobody, right? He's considered a somebody in this league. Has he proven anything? Has he done anything? I get that argument. I do get that argument. But different situations here. Different situations completely. Shane's a guy that I think is going to help the Orioles long-term get to a point where Grayson Rodriguez couldn't, right? Shane got hurt and came back. Made, 31 starts last year? 14 the year before. So you're looking at 45 starts since the last time Grayson Rodriguez threw a pitch. So yeah, that trade is going to be a little bit different. Shane Baz is going to help the Orioles in 26, in 27, and in 28. This guy's good. Let's look at his velocities. So you see, I didn't put the slider up here because he basically got rid of it. But fastball, 100.4 max last year with a 97 mile an hour average. We don't have guys that throw that hard. We just don't. We barely have bullpen arms that throw that hard. Knuckle curve, 89 mile an hour max, 85 average. Imagine seeing 100 mile an hour, and then you got a knuckle curve that runs about 11 inches arm side on a righty. That's not fair. 15 mile an hour difference. God, it's disgusting. Good luck up in the box. Good freaking luck. Cutter was a 95 max, 90 average. And again, this is what he kind of morphed the slider from into that cutter. It still wasn't great. He gave up, I think it was like a 320 average against the cutter or something like that. But that's something that I expect to see changed a little bit. I would see that cutter's probably going to, I'll be interested to see what Drew French does with it. Because the Orioles and Drew French both love the split finger. And could you morph that cutter into a splitty? Very well could. And you could really make Shane Baz dominant at that point. Trying to chase a 100 mile an hour fastball that has run to it. And then all of a sudden you got to worry about probably, we'll say like an 87, 80 mile an hour, 88 mile an hour split finger. That's probably going to dive 12 to 13 inches. This is why I'm sitting behind the camera, because I couldn't hit that kind of stuff. Change up, 93 mile an hour max, 89 mile an hour average. Like, again, you're looking at an 11 mile an hour difference there from a fastball and a changeup that looks the same, but they run in two different spots. Like, it's just not fair. So now there is a little bit of negatives here. I'm not going to sit here and just gloat on him the entire time. So this is what he did against the best offenses by WRC plus last year. And I looked at it home and away splits. It was 6-6. He got rocked by both, home and away. But 12 games, 59 innings, 5.8 ERA, 66 Ks, 28 walks, 5.11 slugging, which is horrible. 24.8% K rate, 1.5% whip, walk in the house, 5.39 FIP, and a 3.96 xFIP. Now, like I said, I wasn't going to sit here and just gloat on him the entire time. I'm going to kind of give you just a little bit of everything. So, all in all, I don't think the Orioles are done by any means. I don't think they're done. I could see a package of, Ranger Suarez at this point. And then, if they go the Brenton Doyle route, you still have plenty of guys to trade for someone on the mound, whether that be Gore or Joe Ryan, other guys. There's a lot to be played here. Do I think they're even done in the hitting market? I don't, to be honest with you. I think a lot of people think that they're content on the hitting side. They might be, but I think if something falls in their lap and they can upgrade this lineup, I think they're going to try to find a way to do it. This isn't your mom and pop shop Orioles anymore. This isn't John Angelos's Orioles anymore, where prospects were everything and you had to hoard them because you weren't going to pay anyone. Mike Elias doesn't hoard prospects anymore. He's right now he's good for he's good to kind of just do whatever he wants now, which I think is great. And I know there's a big debate right now between, like, should they get Framber and should they get Ranger. My personal opinion, the Orioles are out on Framber. I think we can put those rumors to bed. You won't see Framber Valdez in an Orioles uniform. My personal opinion there, I think they look at this clubhouse right now and how it's constructed and everything going down. They don't want to bring any kind of clubhouse issues back into Baltimore. I think you can scratch Framber Valdez out of the Orioles' plans. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's just my personal opinion there. I think they're going to try to get Ranger Suarez. And then, we still hear that they're in on Amaya or Amaye. I always say that wrong. So, but look, Baz at his best is a low end 2, a high end 3. Has he gotten to that point yet? Not just yet, which is the good part. You haven't seen the best out of Shane Baz. So I'm excited about that. Guy's got a live arm, and it's only going to get better. The off-speed stuff's already pretty good. Changeup's pretty good. Knuckle curve is pretty good. You've got a fastball that's not just fast. Like, it's got some run to it. I believe it was 9 inches of glove side movement. Fastball movement, 9.7 inches arm side, down and into righties. It's not even considered a two-seam, but it's moving 9 inches. And then you got a knuckle curve that goes the other way. Guy's got a lot of talent, and I think he's definitely going to help the Orioles. He's going to bring a lot to this rotation that we haven't seen it in some time. You could think about it. Bradish touches, 96, 97 sometimes. This guy sits at 97. There's a difference there. Like, Corbin Burns got it up to 97, sometimes 98 when he was really excited. And this guy gets it up to 100. So, and he's 27. 27. Now, a lot of people say, oh, well, if the Rays couldn't get out of him, what makes you think the Orioles were? I think the Rays got a successful season out of Shane Baz's first year back from Tommy John, playing in that sandbox stadium, playing on a team that was kind of out of it pretty early. It's a tough thing to do. And let's be honest with ourselves. The AL East, not the easiest place to play. There's some good teams there. Toronto can hit. New York can hit. Boston can hit. Baltimore can hit when they feel like it. Hopefully that's a little bit more consistent this year. A lot to like, though. But let's get to some of these comments. I know you guys are fired up and ready to roll. I mean, Chris, we already got 81 comments here in 20 minutes. You guys are rocking and rolling over here. Let's get to a couple of them. Daniel says, I'm waiting on a spot when grading this trade. I don't know all the young guys give up. The one I heard about was the catcher. I like all his tools, offensive, defense. Sounds like we are out of the bag. So I will say that Lance Brodowski, he grades a lot of minor league guys, and he put the models into his software that he uses here. And Shane Baz was modeled at a $37 million value. And what that does is take his WAR for last year, and then it basically kind of guesses what it's going to be the next 3 years, and it gives you a value, right? He came out to $37 million. He basically had a 2 WAR for the next 3 years. And it grades your prospects by what they've done, where they were drafted and stuff. Shane Baz, $37 million. These first-round prospects and that pick were valued at $30 million. So by his models, it was an underpay by the Orioles. It's easy to get attached to some of these prospects. Look, I'm right there with you. I was attached to Michael Fourette. When we traded for Zach Eflin, I was attached to Matthew Etzel. I was like, damn, this sucks. Matthew Etzel's going to be great. He's been decent. He hasn't been great, right? So this is why prospects are just prospects until they come up and figure it out. Now, if they all come up and they help Tampa Bay get to the playoffs and beat us, and then we're all going to be pretty pissed. Unless Baz helps us win a World Series or something. But look, going into the season right now, you got Trevor Rogers, you got Kyle Bradish, you got Shane Baz, your top 3. A hell of a lot better than how we started last year. You already got better, right? You added Taylor Ward, Leonis Tavares, I shouldn't even count him, and Pete Alonso to your lineup. You already got better than last year. You added Kittredge back. You added Ryan Helsley to your bullpen. Already got better than last year. I say that when Felix got hurt. That bullpen was abysmal. But listen, lots to like. Let's keep rolling here. I expect another trade since we still have 3 right-handed hitting first basemen. I agree with that. I think there's going to be 1 to 2 more trades done. 1 to 2 more. I feel like we traded another Grayson Rodriguez healthier version, though. Maybe. Throws hard. Got a little bit better stuff than Grayson. A little bit better attitude. So who knows? I mean, Grayson had times looked great. Shane Baz at times looks great. Grayson at times got hit around. Shane Baz at times got hit around. You could be right. Who knows? Laura, what's going on? Good evening. Sean says Baz in the clubhouse issue, or Baz isn't the clubhouse issue. Grayson was. Correct. Mark says, spicy trade, not what I was expecting. That's how Mike Elias works nowadays, isn't it? Nobody expects anything. Kind of like it that way. Smash that like button as you come in, folks. Yeah, it's a good time to promote that. If you guys are new here, drop a sub on the stream here. We go live as often as we can. We talk a lot about a good Orioles content. We break things down here as often as we can. Like the current stream if you're here. If you're over on Twitter and you want to get a good experience, come on over to YouTube. Same name, Pigtown Sports. What's up, Zach? I like the live stream. Sub to the channel. Best Orioles content on YouTube. I appreciate that. Fellas. Let's see. Chad says no issues with the race trade on my end. Untapped potential with Baz. Ended the day with them guys we traded, just prospects. People complain Mike hoarded them, and now he gets rid of them. Fans cry. You get attached to the names of prospects, and I get it. Like I said, I was the same way. I was big on Michael Fourette. Bodine sucks. A lot of people seen him as potentially a catcher that could take over here. But look, you gave Sammy Basayo a lot of money. You have a lot of confidence in Adley Rutschman. He could potentially get another contract here. Like, you got Ethan Anderson, who's hitting the crap out of the ball. You got Ike Irish, who's hitting the crap out of the ball. You got Creed Willems, who's hitting the crap out of the ball. You got Silas Ardone, who could come up here and be a backup catcher too. And he's in AAA. Like, you've got a lot of catching depth. So it was depth that they had that they could trade. Austin Avern, I loved Austin. I watched him at Bowie. The kid can fly. He can absolutely fly. It's like a freaking track star. Same with Slater DeBrun. Freaking track stars, right? Would they have been great? Yeah. But you know what we got? We got about 73 outfielders. Now, do they have the speed skill set of these guys? No, they don't. But when you have a surplus of this kind of stuff, and this is what we asked for, and when you had that surplus, to trade it before it got too late, before he became Kyle Stowers and when it was 26 years old and, was getting ready to hit Rule 5 and stuff. He did it. He did it. So congrats to Mike. You beat some of the allegations, but you can't be done just yet. Just yet. Fred is the only one I'm worried about. The rest we just drafted this year. Right. Yeah, Fred was good, but, he got better too. And he's probably going to get better too under Tampa Bay, which, it's going to suck to face him, but that's just the reality of it. That's just the reality of it. It kind of sucks, but it is what it is. It says, with trading a draft pick, if we sign Ranger, what pick do we lose now? I believe Ranger was the 3rd round pick for us anyway. I believe, because we haven't hit that competitive balance, that luxury tax yet. So I think it was going to be a 3 anyway. Where Michael King, I believe some people said that, like Boston, if Boston and New York would have signed Michael King, it would have been a 3 and a 5 for them because they've already hit that luxury tax, where it would have just been a 3 for us. So is signing Ranger Suarez and giving up a 3rd round pick a big deal to you? No. Austin Laverne was a 3rd round pick. You just traded him. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, those guys are good players, but that's the difference now. We're not in prospect mode anymore. We're not, which is great. I hate seeing DeBron and Ferret go, but Baz is a good pitcher with 3 years control. Exactly. And listen, it's a business, and you got to pay to play sometimes. An interdivision like that, to acquire a good arm, it may have been a slight overpay, just maybe. Could you have maybe kept either that 1st round pick or maybe one of those players off of there if it was somebody else? Just maybe. But we're going to make that same trade with somebody else someday. Maybe we just did, right? We gave him Brian Baker and got Slater DeBron out of it. We basically traded Brian Baker to help acquire Shane Baz. You ever think of that? That's kind of cool if you think about it. Let's be honest, Grayson didn't want to be here. I question how injured he really was. You're not the only person to ever question that. You're not the only person. No issues with the trade on my end. I like Mike going out of his comfort zone and trading prospects. Baz, untapped potential. Exactly. And now we get to see how good Drew French is. How much can he unlock out of here? Now, we see what he does with some of the dumpster diving relief arms that he brings in here. Rico Garcia, Dietrich Enns, right? He turned those guys around pretty well. Pretty well. Imagine what he could do with a guy who throws 100 miles an hour. God, it's going to be fun. I can't wait, man. I can't freaking wait. Orioles and pitching development shouldn't be said in the same sentence. Tommy, this ain't 2000 anymore, brother. This isn't 2000 anymore. The Orioles have been developing pitching very, very, very quietly over the last 3 seasons. And it's going to start, you're going to start seeing it more and more quickly. Ferret probably would have been here this year. Probably. Trey Gibson, likely going to be here this year. Levi Wells, likely we'll see a bullpen or a spot start at some point this year. All developed pitching by the Orioles. This ain't the same Orioles anymore. Slater stings a bit. Listen, it's easy to say because he was a high-round pick and you gave him a lot of money. Slater didn't ever report last year, right? You didn't even know what you were going to get out of him. So, likely going to be a good player. I'm not saying that, but, it was just, he was a first-round pick name that people knew. That was about it. The Rays have a great eye for talent. They do. They do. I would argue that the Orioles do as well nowadays. I would definitely argue that. Dan says, I'm pumped. I like the move. I do too. I'm right there with you, man. See, Matt says, Grayson didn't pitch last year. Baz started 31 games. Your best ability is your availability, right? If you can't pitch, well, good are you? Baz has the best stuff now to anybody on our staff currently. Get him to be consistent. You might be cooking with grease. I put him number 2. I think Kyle Bradish is just Kyle's one of the best pitchers in the American League, in my opinion. You just got to keep somebody like that healthy. You got to get him consistent starts because every time he gets going and more he pitches, he kept getting better and better and better, and then he'd get hurt. Right? You got to keep Kyle Bradish healthy. He is an ace, in my opinion. He's got the stuff. Now, Shane Baz has the intangibles to get there. It's just got to get unlocked. That mustache, though, it's a little white. Orioles fans been crying all day. They got rid of all these prospects. Ferret will be missed. Fans need to understand these moves help the major league club. Then prospects won't be here for years. Exactly. And they won't even be there for years for Tampa Bay, to be completely blunt with you. Maybe you'll see one. Maybe. You might not see any. That's just how prospects work. You know what I mean? You just never know. It's all a crapshoot. But a guy like Shane Baz has come into the big leagues and he's produced. That's not a crapshoot. At least you know what you're getting. It would take Grayson 2.5 years to make 31 starts for the Angels. Are we complaining that we traded him for Taylor Ward if we know that exact thing right there? I don't think so. Dave says, trade all them prospects. I'm with you, Dave. Look, I like prospects because they're fun and they're fun to kind of keep track with. And I enjoy going to minor league games and watching some of those guys. And you kind of start getting tied to them when one kind of sets himself apart from everybody else. And it's fun to stick with them. But listen, when you can acquire guys that have been there and are positive players in the big leagues, let's just do it all day, man. Let's do it all freaking day. Need one more move for the top of the rotation. It's going to set that rotation up real well if you do. Taylor Ward is a lock to get a qualifying offer. He can get mostly replicate his 2025. Part of that trade for him is acquiring the rights to attach a qualifying offer to him, says Wayman. I wouldn't be shocked if he gets a contract extension. To be honest with you, if he has a nice season, I could see them giving him a little bit of an extension. Why not? You know? Why not? Rick says, hello, Zach and chat. Well, hello, Rick. Hello, Rick. What were the dimensions of the Yankee spring training facilities versus Camden? I think left field was like 314. Let's see. 318 to left field, 408 to center, which is about the same, and 314 to right field. So left field and Camden yards is what, 360, 373 in that little corner area? And then what, 406, 408 to center? And then I think it's, 373 in right center field. And then it's 318 with the wall scoreboard kind of thing. So likely really around 333, 340. Left center at Steinbrenner was 385, right center 360. So basically right field was kind of just like Yankee Stadium where it was just a little sandbox. It was kind of stupid. The Rhino Albino. I like that, Rick. I like that. All right, Jack, it's time to share with the class. The fact that you liked my X reply and didn't respond was notorious. Not yet. Things are building. Just know that. Things are building. But they're not at a point where there's no point in me sharing it just yet. Let's just say that. But they are building. Pay attention to Barstool RDD. If you want things that are going to come out at a good time, he'll drop some memes. And then you get to put the things together like a jigsaw puzzle about what's about to happen. And it's kind of fun. I don't know if anybody's picked up on that yet. He's been playing a little jigsaw puzzle with you guys. I do too at times. Look, Mytho says, losing Ferret was a hit the O's didn't need to take. I would have given them Bragg instead. The thing is Bragg was hurt. Why would they take him? Like, I'm sure they may not have. But if they would have offered that, like, there's no saying that the Rays would have taken that. Like, Bragg or Ferret was good and he was healthy. And pitched a lot, so they went with that guy. I feel like a return going back is going to be a little closer to getting Freddie and not a Shane. Talk me off the ledge. No, I mean, I think you could probably get Freddie for less than that, probably. But because he's got 1 year control, right? I could be wrong. You maybe take this with a grain of salt. You maybe could get Freddie Peralta for Cowser and Kramer and then another higher-end prospect arm or something. Maybe. I don't really know the gauge of that kind of stuff, but you've got two guys that have control in the big leagues, and then if you send them a prospect, like why wouldn't that get it done? But I could be completely off. I really don't know. I just know, like, look, if the Yankees want Freddie Peralta, they've got, 5-6 guys in the top 100, so it just depends on what Milwaukee wants. But they're a team that doesn't need prospects. They draft well. They develop well. They don't need prospects. They need guys that are going to contribute to their big league team. So that's just my only thought that maybe Cowser and Kramer could work. I could be full of crap. We don't know. I mean, you probably know I'm full of crap, but whatever. We'll move on from that. The in-division tax is a real thing. We had to pay a bit more here than we would have otherwise. Wait a minute, I don't think you're wrong. I really don't think you're wrong. But I don't think it was like a huge tax, but maybe just a little bit more. But I will say, too, it was reported, I think that Houston was in on Shane Baz. Now, there was another team, and I couldn't remember who it was, but they were talking about it this morning. But there was several teams that were talking to the Rays about Shane Baz. So, again, credit to Mike Elias for winning this trade. Did he have to maybe, again, go over one extra guy? That's possible. Right? You had to outbid other teams. 2 for 2 outbidding teams. Good for you, right? Brendan says, Matt Blood coached Shane Baz with Team USA and loved him. I did not know that, but that's awesome. That's awesome. Chris says, going to be tough for hitters night to night. Hard righty Bradish, soft lefty Suarez, hard righty Baz, soft lefty Rogers. And you know what? They all have got pretty good off speed too. Keep you off balance there. I like where your head's at, Chris. Cease is apparently a 2 in this league and just got $210 million for Kramer numbers, says Cozy Nate. Again, they go by intangibles. They look at the arm, they look at the K rates, they look at a lot of different things other than just, ERA and stuff like that. I'm not completely saying you're wrong. People think that obviously Cease is still good and he's still got untapped potential. So they gave him $210 million. I think they kind of know, you already know what you're getting out of Dean Kramer. He's a very good 5 in this league. He can win you some games in that 5 slot that a lot of guys can't seem to do in this league. So now, I was saying that Kramer's getting $210 million. No, I'm not saying that. But, Baz is kind of in that same thing where teams see the potential of what could be unlocked in that arm. You can't teach velocity, and you can't teach velocity that moves. It's really hard to teach velocity that moves. Shane's got it. So now it's about kind of perfecting and refining everything else, making him a little bit more consistent, kind of tone down the walks a little bit. He could be really freaking good. Really freaking good. You're saying Baz is not far off from Cease? Exactly. Same kind of arm talent. Bradish can touch the upper 90s. Yeah, we've seen him hit 97 a couple times. I think he was throwing it last year. And when I watched him in his rehab start in Chesapeake, he was hitting 97 a couple times. So can he hit 99 and stuff? At this point, I don't think I want him to. I mean, I'm very content with you throwing 97. Don't put any more stress on that arm, please, for a long time. Unless it's Game 7 of the World Series for some reason you come out of the bullpen. Then do whatever you want. When the Rays want your prospects, I'm always nervous, to be honest, because they are sneaky. Yeah, I like that. Right, Bradish can touch it, but Baz lives there. Yep, we're talking about velocity there. I agree with that. Let's go get Peralta for Mayo and Povich and sign Bellinger. I don't think Povich wins that for Peralta, but I think I've actually looked into Povich a little bit. I think Povich could be a pretty good bullpen arm. He does very well against guys first time through the lineup. He does pretty decent against righties, actually. So it's the second and third time through the lineups where he kind of gets demolished. You could transform Povich into like what Brian Mattis was. Could. Now I'm not saying he will do that because Brian was pretty effective in this league as a relief pitcher and rest his soul. But I think Povich has that potential to make that switch and have a successful career. I do. But that's just me. But yeah, Bellinger, I'm all for that. I am all for that. Again, same thing. Same thing as Brenton Doyle. It opens up Cowser to a trade to acquire good pitching. So I'm all for it. I like your guys' ideas tonight. I hadn't even heard of the knuckle curve until Mike Messina hadn't. Oh, sorry. It looks like you typed it twice. Hadn't even heard of the knuckle curve until Mike Messina. I get you now. Yeah. Not too many guys throw it. Shane was top 20. Yeah, he was 12, man. He was 12. What's Kerstad's value looking like? Maybe something with him and Mountie? Look, Kerstad, I'm not going to say he has zero value because he's proven he can hit the long ball in the big leagues. His thing right now is they have to prove to other teams that he can stay healthy. And they're not going to do that during the offseason. They're not going to do that in spring training. It might take a bit. It's going to plummet. At this point, he'll be 27. But look, he's still got a jersey on his back. As long as they don't cut him, he's got a shot. So we'll leave it at that. He could come out and hit 13 home runs in the first month of the season again and put himself right back in the conversation. It's just how baseball works. An injury could happen. Tyler O'Neill could go down. Isn't that kind of expected? You just never know. You just never know what can happen in baseball. Oh, still need an ace, and Peralta is a logical route. Still go after Bellinger. I'm with you, Mathos. Mathos? Is it Mathos? I apologize if I'm saying it wrong. I'm completely with you there. I love that idea. We still have around 80 million in trade assets with both Mayo and Mounty. What is Elias up to? It's a good question. He's got a lot to work with. Let's put it that way. He's got a lot to work with, doesn't he? Yeah, he's still got to address maybe 1 to 2 more spots in the bullpen. Hopefully high leverage, whether that be a lefty, righty or lefty. I was really hoping we were getting Edwin Yosita when I heard this morning that we were going to trade with Tampa. And I was like, man, please let it be Garrett Cleavinger or Edwin Yosita if it's not a starter. Like, I was going through all sorts of scenarios, and I was like, man, those 2 guys in our bullpen would be awesome. But hey, maybe that thing still happens too. I don't know. You don't know. Do you think Alonso playing every day and Adley, Mayo, and Basayo makes sense as 3 to make 2? Maybe keep Mayo as a trade bait, injury insurance in season while keeping Adley fresh and picking right-lefty matchups. The thing with Mayo is he's young, and same with Basayo. You got to have consistent at-bats. You can't really kind of pick and choose like, oh, hey, you're going to play every 4th day or something like that. It's very hard. The ball moves too much in the big leagues to have those guys kind of sitting that long. So it's a big deal to them to kind of get themselves, excuse me, in a good routine. I wouldn't sit him. I would try to trade him if I can. Who's number 6 on that list? That was Grayson. That was Grayson. Yep. I don't think he's pitched since then. Murray says, or S. Murray says, need Framber now. I'm not sure if we see him, to be completely honest with you. Forgot where I just saw it, but prospects are suspects until they make it to the pros, and they have to compete with the best in the world. Baz has shown he can do that. Ship, you couldn't have said it any better, brother. You couldn't have said it any better right there. Couldn't have said it, but any better. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. Some guys come up and they start hot, and you never hear from them again. Some guys come up and they win Rookie of the Year, and then you never hear from them again. A la Kyle Lewis. He was out of baseball in like 3 years. It's hard to continually compete with the best in the world year in and year out. I don't think a lot of people understand that. Baz is going into that 2nd year after Tommy John, too. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets back to that real promising level he had before. Very, very true. Very true. Not to mention, out of all of Grayson's injuries, he still hasn't had Tommy John. It's inevitable for guys like that to throw hard to get it. It's on the horizon for Grayson. Yep, I agree. 100% agree. I like Baz. Didn't think he was available. He throws hard. He does. He definitely throws hard. The heat map on his cutter is like a laser, just bullseye after bullseye. Yeah. That's that slider thing. It's not very good. Not very good. Actually, having a home ballpark will help him. He's got extremely good numbers at Camden Yards. I don't think Steve Molesky posted it earlier. I don't remember the exact numbers, but I'm going to pull them back up for you guys real quick in his career. But the last 3, I think he had like a 0.65 ERA. It was incredible. He hit like a 110 average against him when he pitched against the Orioles. We're going to pull up his career here and see what he's done first. Okay, so career at Camden Yards, 2 games, 0.75 ERA, gave up 1 earned, which is a solo home run, 12 Ks, 105 average against him in 12 innings. Now, if we did opponent against the Orioles, 3 starts, 0.56 ERA. Again, still that 1 solo home run, 15 Ks, 0.80 average against, a 160 slugging, in 16 innings with a 26% K rate, and a 0.6 whip, and a 93.8% left on base percentage. Whew. So, yeah, I mean, the guy dominated the Orioles. Now, did he dominate everybody else? Well, not always. Not always. He's got 2.64 lifetime, 5 starts against the Red Sox, which is pretty solid. Yankees, he's got a 6.75 ERA against them with a 2.95 average with 10 home runs given up. That's rough. That's rough. 9 of those home runs have come at home. What year? Let me break that down. 6 of those home runs at home. So 6 of the home runs the Yankees hit off Shane Baz were this year in that sandbox down in Florida, in that spring training complex. What has he done at Yankee Stadium? He's allowed 1 solo home run, and that's it in 2 games. So he's only allowed just those 2. 1.5 ERA, 7 walks, 5 Ks. And I want to say these were 2021 and 2024. So nothing really to kind of go off there too much. We'll go back to Toronto. And Toronto, he's got a 2.23. So all in all, outside of the Yankees this year playing in a spring training facility, he does pretty good against the AL East. I'm kind of excited about that. G Chaz says, no, anyone but Ranger. You might want to like Ranger, maybe. I think that's who they're going after. Doyle has a great glove and speed, a better version of Cedric Mullins. Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like this is the Astros trading for Cole, a power arm with untapped potential. I'd have to go back and look into that, Big Ben. I'd have to go back and look at that. Around what Cole was doing around that time leaving Pittsburgh. That's interesting that you bring that up. I'll look at that for you. British Raven says, you go ahead and remove some clubhouse issues. You don't jump right back into it. I'm guessing you're talking about Framber. But yeah, I agree with you. Give us Danger Ranger with the postseason experience. I'm with you. If Framber would tag Adley or Samuel, we would riot. You're probably right. J. Chaz says, I'd be charging him out if he did that. You're right. Wasn't Baz compared to Corbin Burns? I don't remember if he was or not. I mean, they might have had those comps when he was a top 100 player and stuff. They used to do those all the time. The irony of picking little Slay is what they really call him, with the Tampa Bay comp pick last year, just for us to flip him back and add us for this year. It goes a long way, too. It goes a long way. If they get Ranger Suarez, where does this rotation rank in the AL East? And this also out of all teams. So if you had Kyle Bradish, Ranger Suarez, Shane Baz, Trevor Rogers, and I don't think they're done. Even if you had Dean Kramer, I don't think they're done with that. I think you put them at 2 behind Toronto for the AL East, and maybe top 5 in the AL, maybe top 4. I mean, Seattle's tough to beat, but. And then you go, look, and then you still have the wherewithal to trade and upgrade Dean Kramer. Like, now you're looking at potentially one of, if not the best in the AL, depending on who you got back. If you got Freddie Peralta, you have the best rotation in baseball. Or not baseball, in the AL. I'm not even going to sugarcoat that. You're better than Seattle at that point. You get Freddie Peralta with the guys that we currently have. That's just me. I know somebody will make a comment about that, but whatever. I don't care. Like I said on Twitter, you can have your cake and eat it too. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't ask Elias to start shipping some of these prospects and then complain with the prospects you like. Right. Losing Fred sucks, but there's a cost of acquiring pitching, and then the O's went for it. Can't be mad at them trying to win now. Right. I agree with you guys. Are there any big bullpen arms available? Say a Josh Hader would be a Mayo-led package. That'd be interesting, Dave. That'd be interesting. Tanner Scott? I mean, he had a down year. He's not the closer anymore. Like, he had that surgery on his butt cheek. Could he be healthy again? Got a pretty decent deal to him. I mean, it's a large deal, but could he be, that lefty leverage guy that you're looking for? You don't need him to close, but he could close. Like, things to look at. Dodgers they're always trying to find ways to get better. Could you ship him off Mayo? I don't know. Ship him something. I'd call and ask. Why not? The takeaway from this trade, starting pitching is expensive. Hostile, toxic, I can't say the rest of that. You are correct. Pitching is expensive. And pitching that's already been hurt and then got healthy again is probably even more expensive nowadays. Do you trade Mayo and Moore for Brenton Doyle? Maybe. You would like to say no, but Doyle's got a lot of control left, and you don't care if Kobe Mayo goes to Colorado and hits 40 home runs? You don't, because one, is not in the AL, and two, like, you're probably never really going to play against him, even in the playoffs, for a long time. Who cares? Like, that's what it takes. Like, okay. It's not like you're trying to trade him to Boston or somebody like that. It's going to, you got to face him all the time. Like, if he goes to Colorado, who cares? Let's get Zach to 50 likes. I appreciate you guys. We're at 47 right now. You guys are killing it. Killing it. He was way better than his ERA. Guy played in a Mickey Mouse field because Tampa Bay lost Tropicana. Exactly. Nate stayed, so we were fine. Another win. Nate George, man, everybody wants him. And Mayo and Coors Field, my goodness, give me Doyle all day. Great glove and speed. Exactly. Nobody cares if Kobe Mayo goes to Colorado. You just don't. You wish him luck. You hope he hits 50 home runs out there. And who cares anymore after that? You know what I mean? Like, it's a good spot for him. And it's a win-win for the Orioles if they could acquire Brenton Doyle. Now, big question you got to ask yourself, is Doyle going to get back to what he was? Down year a little bit last year. But great defense, great speed. There's a lot of things that he could provide you. I damn near clean out the farm to get Peralta and Gore. If Peralta agreed to an extension, I'd clean the farm, sure. But as a one-year thing, I'm not cleaning it just yet. Hyde says, I'm going to miss Ferret. Me too. I enjoyed watching him pitch in Double-A the couple times that I did. As the LA Rams have said, F them picks. Give me proven talent. Yeah. They won a Super Bowl like that, didn't they? Or did they? I don't even remember anymore. We don't know if Kershaw can even go at this point. I think he could go. Simply put, since August 2024, Grayson has made 0 start, where Baz has made 41. I think is it 41 or 45? Made 31 last year and 14 in 2024. But you could be right. 41. Anyway, he helps this year and next year and the year after. Grayson is probably headed for Tommy John next year. Look, if Grayson throws out and throws 100 innings next year, good for him. Good for him. Good for LA. The Orioles made a choice that they were better. They were a better baseball team without him, and they traded him. There's not much we can really say at that point. It's hard to acquire a major league middle of the order bat. 1 year left remaining or not. It's hard to acquire. And you saw it with Pete Alonso. Like, you had to overpay him a little bit. You had to go that extra year. You had to go out of your comfort zone to pay him. It's hard to acquire those kind of players. So if you got him for Grayson Rodriguez, good. If that's the guy that you valued, good. You got what you wanted. And everybody's happy. Is Doyle actually on the market because the Rockies just saying? That's what I thought, see, Matt. That's what I thought. Like 2 or 3 days ago, it was like, oh, Brenton Doyle's going to stay here. We're not trading him. And then it's like, oh, the Orioles might trade for Brenton Doyle. And look, and Mockbaum, who originally posted, he's not wrong often. He's a pretty good account. He's got some insiders for sure. Any rumors on free agent pitching? Some. Definitely some rumors. We'll leave it at that. It's still a rumor right now. Once things get serious, people will start talking about it. Right now, everything's just a rumor. Penn's got to get a little bit closer to hitting a paper. Realistically, how many of these guys we traded would be in the majors within 3 years that we have Baz? Realistically, that's the question. Could be 0. Just never know. It's hard to even say realistically because any one of them could get hot and all of them could stink. You just don't know. I'd say realistic, if I had to pick one, right, for the sake of the comment, if I had to pick one, I would say it's Bodine, just because getting to the big leagues as a catcher is probably a little bit easier than any other position. And it's not easy. That just tells you how hard it is to get there at other positions too. Ranger Framer, Bradish, Rogers, Baz, Kramer, Wells in the bullpen with trade chips to still improve. Give me Ranger, Jojo Romero, and Bader, and let's go. It's a damn good team right there, David. It's a damn good team, and I think we all know that. The Orioles are going to be fun in MLB The Show 26. Can't wait for franchise mode. I did see that picture of Deet. His dad is jacked. His arms are like this freaking big. It's crazy. I stand by what I said last year. The worst thing the Orioles ever did was move that wall back in. I don't think so. I can tell you the players that want to play here don't think so either. The pitching, sure, whatever. I mean, It ain't no different than going to pitch in Yankee Stadium or even Toronto. They got, just baby ballparks. It's no different. Steve says, I don't think you can call him a star. I mean, you very well could be. How many guys in the big leagues throw 100 miles an hour? Doesn't that kind of put you in a class above everybody else? I mean, you were at one time the 12th overall ranked prospect. I mean, they're considered usually a star. Usually, I'd say they did pretty good. I think it's fine with how they got him. Jeff Proctor says, who cares about the farm? We need big leaguers this year. I'm with you, Jeff. I'm with you. I know this has nothing to do with the Orioles, but I'm still shocked Tampa traded Brandon Lowe to the Pirates. They want Ketel Marte, apparently. I guess to help sell tickets. I don't even know. I never would have thought the Rays would be our main trade partner every year. Truth. I didn't even know he was available till this happened. Yeah, exactly. Trade Kowser, Mayo, and others for a number 1 and sign Tucker or Bellinger, and now you're a World Series contender. You and I think a lot alike, Justin. A lot alike. I'm fine with Baz, but he cannot be the guy we get this offseason. There needs to be another guy. I think there's at least one coming. At least one. Maybe 2. Starters. Bradish is clearly an ace. I agree with you. General Soreness is planning his vacations as we speak. Do you try for Fairbanks and pay him closer money to be an 8th inning arm backup closer? Why not? Why not give him $10 million? Why not? Other teams are doing it. Why not? Go get Paul Skeens? No. Let Pittsburgh. They need to. They need this. The package we just gave away for Baz just made Peralta or Gore more expensive. Gore maybe. It may set the level for what Gore could be, but Peralta probably not. He's just 1 year control. He's 1 year control. And the difference with Baz too is he's just now hitting arbitration, so he's not even making the $8 million that Peralta is. So I wouldn't say so. Have I heard anything on Joe Romero? Just that they're interested. Does trading for someone with similar injury history as Grayson further strengthen your argument that trading away Grayson had more to do with the locker room character than his arm health? It's a great question, Brandon. It's a great question. But, like we've talked about, he's also thrown 3,600 pitches since the last time Grayson's thrown. So, yes, he's considered an injury concern because he's had his surgery, but he's rehabbed back, and knock on wood, he's stayed healthy since. I wouldn't put him in the same conversation injury-wise as Grayson just because he had surgery. I mean, Kyle Bradish has had 2. Tyler Wells has had 2. So, but that kind of speaks to my argument too, though, is Kyle Bradish has had 2 surgeries. Now that Felix Bautista's had 2 surgeries and they've given him 2 contracts during it. Tyler Wells has had 2 surgeries. They didn't give up on those guys because they had injury concerns. So I'll just leave that there. Hand up when I heard Ray's starting pitching, was hoping for another Shane. McClanahan being a Baltimore native would have been pretty cool, but again, he's also a guy who's had nerve issues and stuff, and sometimes they don't go away. And that's the scary part. Alex Ochoa is supposed to be the next Ken Griffey Jr. I knew that was slightly before your time, Pigtown, but I gotta love prospects. Exactly. I mean, look at Yuneski Noel, right? That was a big time power bat, just got cut. So prospects are prospects, man. Much respect for Elias for learning from his mistakes instead of doubling down. Zazzola, I agree with you. We need more bullpen arms. 1,000%. 1,000%. Sign Ranger, trade Kramer in a Peralta deal, and profit. I like how you're thinking, Adit. If the Orioles get another starting pitching by trade, I'd like for Mike would try to sign another big bat. Raphael, I think it goes down to what they value. Do they value Framber and Ranger as big as they value Tucker or Bellinger? Like, who helps the team more over the course of that money spent in those contracts? Is it Bellinger, Tucker, or is it Framber and Ranger? And if it's Bellinger and Tucker, you sign them and then trade for the pitching. And if it's the other way around, if it's the other way around, well, then you sign the pitching. So you just got to figure out what's best. I wonder how much influence Brandon Hyde had on the prospects the Rays got in this deal. Probably not much because he wasn't really around when they drafted most of those guys that were this past year. Doyle doesn't have enough offense to trade for. Mayo is needed in a pitching trade, at least payroll for Tucker. Yes and no. A little bit just because the team that has the arm, if they don't have a need or don't want Mayo, like you can't just be like, well, that's my guy, like that, and then just kill the trade. There's other ways to acquire people, but I just figured like Colorado, like it's just not somebody you have to worry about beating you in the AL playoffs, World Series. If you're going to send them somewhere, why not there? Hey, don't get me a little excited there, Mr. Brooks. Vern might not have been able to top prospect in that package, but he was so fun. Randomly discovering some power last year was an interesting surprise. I agree with you, Mark. I 1,000% agree with you. He had some pop, but man, when he got running, it was fun to see. That dude could fly. Austin Kaufman coming in with a $9 super chat. I appreciate that. Love the analysis. Keep the content coming and go O's. Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate you. Everybody give him a little round of applause. Thank you so much, Austin. Thank you again. $9, man. Thank you. I don't deserve that, to be completely honest with you. I love talking ball with you guys. That's what this is all about. We just love talking ball. Thank you, man. That's pretty cool. People don't like Ranger, but he's been a top 10 or 15 pitcher in his league for 5 years. He's going to look great in orange and black. I don't disagree with you, Rick. I don't disagree with you. He's got a little bit of weight concerns. He's got a little bit of fastball velocity concerns. If the weight are making the fastball get lower, can they change that? It's possible. There's ways you can still make him effective. He's got a damn good off-speed set. So he can still be effective in this league for a little while. Which prospects used in trades would signal a Tucker or Bellinger is in play? I don't know if any of them really signal anybody's in play, to be honest with you. I mean, you just had a surplus of outfielders. A surplus of catchers too, really. I don't know. You have to trade from the outfield depth, O'Neill and et cetera, as soon as possible. I don't disagree with you, Ryan. I think you're right on par there. Excuse me. Mike says, give us Scooball, LOL. Hey, they could still try, maybe. They could still try. Your team is only as strong as you are up the middle. Gunnar, Adley, Jackson, and with all due respect, Cowser, a big gaping hole in center field. I don't think there's an issue at all defensively with Cowser. It's just been the bat. I think defensively, Cowser's more than capable of playing center field for 162 games if he stayed healthy. I just think people want less of a hole at the plate. Could this staff make him better? Maybe. We're going to find out, I think. We're going to find out. I had to get off the Cobb Hightower Live to come spend some time with you. I appreciate that, Stefan. How was it? Was it good? Charm City coming in, gifting a membership. Thanks, you dude. I appreciate that. Orioles Fanky got himself a membership. That's pretty awesome. Thank you, guys. Who wants to sit in an expensive seat in Camden Yards and think at least a double a team going to the playoffs? Who wants to sit in an expensive seat in Camden Yards and think, well, at least a double A team's going to the playoffs? Right, exactly. I had to reread it. I'm sorry. My apologies, Michelle. I agree with you. There was times last year with a parent and I here, Stefan, we would go down and watch Chesapeake games. And when Bradish went down there in rehab, we went down and watched that. Now, when Vern came up, we went and watched that. When Estrada came up, we went and watched that together. Like there's a lot of talent down at Chesapeake, and if you guys are close by, you should definitely go check it out. I mean, Chesapeake's a fun place to play. Beautiful ballpark. They've had a lot of renovations this year too, but it's cool to see some of these guys that potentially could be here. So yeah, man, you plugged me in a few times. I appreciate that. Go get Peralta and extend him. I'm with you right there, Austin. That would make this team really freaking good. Rick just became a member. Whoop, whoop. My man, Rick. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate that. Man. Jason said, Pigtown is tired. I am, man. It's only 9:50. It's 9:50. And I've been going about an hour already. Man, you guys are killing it, though, man. Absolutely killing it. 126 of you over here on YouTube right now, just killing it on Friday night. We got a lot to go, though. I mean, the Orioles, they still got some moves to be made. to get themselves better. And are they going to make it? That's the question. Are they going to make more than one? Another question. Are they going to acquire a bat? Who knows? There's some exciting times, man. Kramer has been successful in the East, and that's not easy. Kramer needs to add 5 more wins over an average, and his team will help. If Kramer didn't struggle in April, I think he would have at least 2 or 3 more wins a year. He just really struggles out of the gate coming out of spring training. I don't know why. Hopefully that's something that they can address this year and get him ready on time. Does Cowser, Mayo, Bradfield plus others put you close to Skubal? I don't know if it does, to be honest with you. I would think they want Jackson Holiday. I think they do have Gleyber Torres, who, by the numbers, is better at the moment. Obviously, Holiday a lot younger. I don't know. I really don't. I think you would definitely have to at least put Esteban Mia in there. But that's the thing is, like, do you want to send all that for a rental? Like, or do you try to get like a Dodgers type thing where you have to agree to an extension before you make the trade? Now, if they did that, then I wouldn't care who the hell you traded. Like, this guy's best pitcher on the planet. But just for the rental, like the whole Corbin Burns situation, I'm not giving up 3, 4, 5 guys. Like, that's a lot. Now, if you signed Ranger Suarez and somehow went and got Cody Bellinger, then would I care? Hell no. Go for it this year. Go for it. And pray to God you can re-sign him somehow. But either way, it's been 43 years. Go for it. But, if you're not going to go get Bellinger or something like that, it's a little bit different of a story. I mean, you gotta think a little bit of your future and injuries and stuff like that. Like Michelle said, you don't want to worry about the AA team going to the playoffs, because now that AA team, with injuries, if you don't have guys to replace, they're coming up to the big leagues. You put yourself in a bad spot for a guy that didn't resign. So it's a toss up of what you can eventually do. But I don't know. I'm excited overall. I think Shane Baz is, again, he's better than what we had last year. He slots in very nicely in this rotation. I think it gives us a way to kind of just get better after Trevor Rogers, because right now we were kind of looking at things and it was ugly. I mean, Dean Kramer was that next best guy. So now it's Shane Baz and then Dean Kramer. So you got a little bit better today. There's still some room to keep getting better, though. Don't stop here. That's my biggest thing, is don't stop here. Let Shane Baz, who has the ability to be a low-end 2, high-end 3, to morph into that. Don't thrust him into it. Go get Ranger or somebody else. Go trade for Hunter Green or Joe Ryan or Peralta or something like that. Let Baz kind of hang out down there. And I think he'll perform extremely well. Extremely well. I'm excited. There's still more to go. We'll be back here talking with you guys when there is. But that's about it for me for tonight. I think this was a hell of a stream. I'm thankful for every single one of you again, as usual. Again, if you're over on Twitter and you want that cool interactive experience, come on over to YouTube, drop a sub. If you're new here on YouTube, don't miss this kind of content. Drop a sub. And I'll catch you guys later. I hope you have a great weekend. And hey, something might happen this weekend too, and we get back and talk with you again. So, I don't know. Peace.